Welcome back to The Potentialists. My name is Bert Oliva, and my co-host's name is...
Mike Ibrahim.
Mike, I'm so excited. I'm really excited because you ended up bringing these guests that we're about to introduce. I love their backstory. I like their motivation. I like what they're all about.
Yes, so Amanda and Dr. Nanda, to be honest, are very special people.
So introduce them.
So this is Dr. Nanda. I think he's the youngest doctor I know of. He became a doctor at a very young age, right?
Very young age, yeah.
And then we got, Amanda. And go ahead and introduce yourself to like Dr. Nanda.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Rakesh Nanda, originally from Houston, Texas. Lived all around the country, been chasing the best education I can. Initially involved in just traditional medicine. Had the good fortune of being involved with medical systems and helping being medical directors of different companies and corporations and help build programs, and have always had a passion for aesthetics, but more holistic functional medicine.
But is that what you went to school for?
Yeah, it was actually regular medicine, just primary care. So, I originated doing just primary care, internal medicine, pediatrics, and really had a passion for, look, what else can we do internally without having to use pharmaceutical medications or things that may have all these side effects. There's got to be a better way. And it's funny because both of my parents were pharmacists growing up. Oh, wow. So it's kind of interesting that, hey, you have parents that are pharmacists, so you think that you're really into pharmaceutical drugs, but actually went the opposite direction. Because I knew that, hey, all these drugs have so many other effects that people don't want. If we could find the root cause of medicine and treat that in a holistic fashion and really be able to go down deep into the DNA and the chromosome level of things, we could find the genes that interact with certain other processes that may cause that cascade effect, leading to cancer, leading to diseases, leading to inflammation, leading to all these diseases, things that we take medications for. So if I could treat that from the ground level up in a holistic way, you could help longevity, help people live longer, better, live a more meaningful life without having to take all this pharmaceutical drugs. I have all that background of regular medicine, went through the whole thing, worked as a traditional, physician for more than 10, 15 years, and then got involved with admin, leading groups of doctors, got involved in businesses, insurances. That's where I got my business background from. And then I knew that,
because most doctors don't really have a business background.
No, unfortunately.
Which is why I'm amazed with everything you've accomplished, which we'll let them know.
Yeah.
But most doctors just don't do business. They know just how to be a doctor.
They're actually really bad at business.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And unfortunately, they don't have any type of business programs for physicians. For lawyers, they do it. Even dentists now, because if you look at dentists, they're kind of running businesses, right? If you look at a dental practice, they're buying the equipment on their own. They're managing insurance on their own. They're going to be a dentist, and then be a traditional dentist, but they have to run that whole business. They get a little bit of business background. We do not as physicians. We've kind of been trained just, hey, chase the medications, work for a hospital. If you start a private group, have partners, but then you need coverage. So we never have got that business background. I had to kind of self-teach it to myself. And I realized that, throughout all this, anxiety and depression has been growing and growing and growing. In fact, it's the number one healthcare problem in North America right now, if not the world, and definitely North America. And there's so many other ways to treat anxiety and depression. People resort to all kinds of methods, but think back to the COVID time. There was no counseling. You couldn't find therapists for children. They were getting diagnosed with attention deficiency. They were getting diagnosed with all these bad things. Many of them committed suicide. They were depressed, lifelong problems. If we could fix this stuff from the root cause and just find a different approach, I think we could change everything.
Right?
That's correct. Yeah, you could help the whole family. That's where I got so passionate about this after that.
How did you go from being an admin and teaching and all these great things to where did the light bulb come in when you're like, I need to open up my own business?
It was more when I was going through the whole process of regular medicine, working through the hospital system, dealing with other doctors, seeing that, look, if I can help people from the inside out, if I could help them look better, feel better in a more holistic way, I could really win. I could accomplish my lifelong goal. I had to kind of self-teach myself about business. So I started learning and saying, okay, if I open my own practice, I do more of a holistic type of functional medicine type of practice, integrate some aesthetics and good stuff into it, I think I could really do this. I started with one location, and more of that was...
What did that location have?
So, really, I was working at the hospital and I started saying, hey, you know what? I want to start helping with aesthetics. So I rented a laser and I would go and take it to nail salons and spas where they actually do hair.
So you were like mobile.
I was mobile. And I would go and I would do Botox. And I did Botox on a Saturday. And I would just be by myself.
But
and
you
I
were
would do Botox.
you were still doing emergency room.
I was still working in regular medicine.
And then, so you were hustling.
I was hustling. I was working my regular 40+ hours a week job.
Wow.
On my off days, I would go approach nail salons and hair salons and say, hey, there's this thing called Botox. Can I come in and do it?
Before the fad came.
Before the fad came. This was 20 years ago. And say, hey, I can come inject in your spa. I'm a doctor. I'll manage it. I'll bring, some hummus and some fruit trays, and we'll create a really nice buzz. And they're going to come in, see what you've got here, but also I'll inject them. And we're going to get all these people into your location that aren't even your customers or clients. And they're going to see what you got. And then I'm going to give them this awesome stuff. You'll probably gain some clients. It's a win-win. And I did that at one place, and then the word grew, and then more and more places started asking
Everybody
me to
fell
do
in
it.
love with the hummus.
Yeah, they love the hummus. They love the hummus. Before I knew it, man, I was doing it every Saturday, and I didn't have any days off. Then it moved to Sundays. And then I started adding in a rental laser and doing laser hair reduction, doing brown spots, red spots. And I was like, man, I'm renting this laser every single weekend now. I need to buy my own laser.
So meanwhile, all this time you're doing this, you're mobile. Do you have a location yet?
No, I was working out of these nail spas and these salons, but it got so busy that then I looked and I found a spot to have my own place. I bought a laser. It was so scary. It was like a leap of faith, and I was like, okay, I got to either do this or not. And so I used all the extra money I had,
Everything.
paid rent, bought a laser. I couldn't even afford furniture at that point because things were so expensive. That I went to U-Haul. I bought a really strong box. This is funny. I cut a hole in the box. I went to Bed Bath & Beyond. I got a black drape, put it on there, bought a computer. That was my front desk. And still to this day, right now, I have patients that still come to me that were at that original office that still are my patients, that still remember that story and still tell me my story. And I started with just me and one nurse, and then we grew, and then we grew
What
out
was
of
your
that
drive,
space to make something better, to make something bigger, to just be my best self and to challenge against myself. It wasn't to be competitive against anybody else. I just knew if I'm competitive
You really
with
didn't
myself,
have much competition because you started
was just
before this
me.
whole trending thing that everybody does it now, supposedly, right?
I just knew I could make this something big, and if I could get the word out, I could have multiple offices.
So you started in Ohio?
Yeah, I started that one was
One
in
location.
Ohio. Yep.
And then what happened then?
And then I grew, started another location, found another location in Dayton, Ohio, from a group of sleep doctors that said, hey, we have this other location. We saw how successful you are in Columbus, and we want you to grow and maybe work with us. So I started by kind of fractionally working with them a little bit. It got to be so successful that I purchased that practice, made that one my own. That became the Jiva Med Spa. Then I found a third
Why
practice.
Jiva? What was?
Well, that's a great question. So it was originally, my original name of my first practice was called Grandview Aesthetic Center. And that was in Grandview, Ohio. And I knew that, hey, you know what? Grandview, Ohio is one subdivision.
You won't be able to
specific spot.
franchise
You
with
can't
that name.
franchise it out, or you can't branch out. The second place was Jiva. And Jiva means the essence of life. And I went further and I looked at this and I said, okay, what does that truly, truly mean? I deep dived into that word. It's a Sanskrit word. And it meant to actually bring out the best in everybody around you. Give them 100% of the best you can give them. And then in turn, they will give you 100% of the best that they can give back. And then together, you'll just grow and strive to that ultimate being. And I was like, this is such a cool concept. That's exactly what I'm all about. And I was like, let's do it.
So the second location started with Jiva.
That was the name of that practice, actually.
And honestly, it reflects on the way you treat your patients and your clients.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to get, I seen like the reviews, and of course we can talk about Amanda.
Yeah.
The people really trust you and love you, and they, with you, like you said, from when you had a box, now they're still, is it, 10, 15 years later, they're still there?
Yeah.
So then how many locations you ended up in Ohio?
Well, then 3. Then I had a third one in Cincinnati. And then after that,
you thought, let me expand.
let me
across the
expand
country.
more. And so I was doing a lot of public speaking. I got pretty good at these laser devices, and I started to use some started to use them in other ways too. And so some of the companies saw me doing that. They have laser device, and they said, well, we want you to come speak with us. And then other, different educational companies for medicine with hormones, with different things. We're like, we want you to come educate, not to try to make sales all the time, but more educate people on holistic medicine, educate people on the benefits of hormones, educate people on how you can combine this with traditional medicine and win. So I started publicly speaking a lot on that.
Well, I get that, but how did you expand it? How did you end up in Florida?
Well, because then I started being involved with a lot of other groups, and I got a lot of exposure to other practices around the United States, around the world. They asked me to be fractional owners with them. Part of that was in Florida. I became involved with someone that also did some medical consulting, and she introduced me first to Amanda. Amanda and I talked, and I knew this portion of Florida from Miami all the way up to West Palm Beach was a mecca of holistic medicine. And people in Southern Florida really want a nice holistic approach, but they also want to be able to have cosmetics and laser treatments that's going to be beneficial for them without burning their skin, as a lot of ethnic skin. And I was like, this is my place.
Why'd you point at me when you said that?
This is my, all of us at this table, actually. Look at this table. So I was like, let's do it. So Amanda and I hit it off. We started chatting, and I was like, hey, I have this vision, and Boca Raton seemed to be the perfect place for that. Yeah. Because in Boca Raton, the individuals strive for exactly that. They want something natural, holistic, but good. They want education. They want to have a practice that has it all in one place. And so we got involved, and that was my vision.
So Amanda, when he received that phone call, what went through? I mean, what were you doing? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so at the time when I met Dr. Nanda, I had a men's clinic, and our focus was, again, the holistic wellness approach, anti-aging. We loved that. I was working with a local doctor that is still with us.
When you say men's clinic, it was just strictly men?
All men, yep.
Wow.
Yep, and we did hormone therapy, we did erectile dysfunction, but that was it at the time. We didn't really we hadn't grown, we hadn't branched off into other services. So it was great to meet Dr. Nanda because, of course, he had that piece of, lasers and the cosmetic and aesthetic side. So we started chatting, and here we are.
Yeah, but what's your background?
So I'm a registered nurse, but prior to becoming a nurse, I was in business. I had a business degree. I was working in events, working at hotels.
Oh, wow.
And I just decided I didn't want to do that my whole life. So I went back to nursing school and worked in hospitals and wanted to combine the business side of it. So partnered with Dr. Sam and started the men's clinic.
Oh, so you and Dr. Sam started the men's clinic.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will eventually meet Dr. Sam. And then when he reached out to you,
right,
like, let's partner up, let's take it to the next level.
Right.
And that's where you guys are at right now.
Exactly.
That's interesting. But you know what's really cool? Hearing this story, she was in events before, and you've done events. So what's coming with Jiva is going to be crazy. Yeah. You guys are leveling up. So tell us, now that you guys have teamed up, where is Jiva going?
Well, it's really exciting. I think it's, the sky's the limit. We have full service now, men, women, aesthetics. We have laser hair. We have just so many services and just such a great staff. A lot of expertise with Dr. Sam, Dr. Nanda, some great nurse practitioners. I think our business model is a lot different because, we know all of our patients. I'm very hands-on there every day, greeting everybody. I know everybody that calls. So
really, that's true.
I think that's...
I've been there a couple of times, and that's one of the things that sets you guys apart, is that the medical practitioner is...
Nurse practitioner?
No, the doctor.
Dr. Sam?
Is there once or twice a week, so you actually get to see them meet the doctor, unlike, well, this is the license that was being held.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of interaction. And then when I met you guys, one thing I noticed, Mike, was I met Amanda first, and then I was like, oh, she's cool. But then I met the other doctor, and then I met you, and then I met the ladies that do the Botox, and at the end I was like, man, they're all the same. It's the same vibe. It feels that way. It feels like you're going into a family, not into a business. That's kind of the feel that I've gotten.
They created a great culture, and I think the business model that you guys are creating is going to be one of a kind, and where people are actually going to try to replicate what you're doing, because the industry itself is flooded with 90% of bullshit.
Especially in Florida.
Like they just these boutiques that you see. And then nobody really goes and tries to solve the underlying issue of the person. They're like, okay, Botox, microneedling, Morpheus, it's just equipment. But what about the underlying issue that you have? You've been doing it with the sexual health. You solving, the underlying issue of the patients. In the cosmetic,
both men and women.
for men and women.
Yeah.
In the cosmetic, they're like, okay, you want tighter skin, okay, but what about your dark skin, like your dark spots? What's the issue? What about, nobody's doing blood tests. Even with weight loss and semaglutide and all that, half of the people that's selling it don't even do a blood test to see if this person is going to get hurt. Is he qualified? Is he not qualified?
Not only that, a lot of people, what I've noticed, and just my opinion, is that a lot of people, you go to these med spas, and it's always an upsell. What was the group coupon that I got? And
Groupon, yeah.
No, but then with you guys, it's more like, let me see. Okay, have you ever thought of this? I know you came here for this, and we can still provide this. But have you ever thought about this? And you're like, what is that? And they're like, well, this is usually the reason that this happened.
Right.
And then I love that. I think that's more of the type of med spa, if anything, that I would like to be a part of. Not one that's always telling me whatever the latest trend is and so forth, because that's not what I want to do. I want this to be longevity, not a quick fix.
Right.
And the industry is really hurt because the trust is really disappearing. People losing trust in the food industry. They're losing trust in doctors.
Yeah.
I don't trust a lot of doctors. I trust you guys, but I really don't trust doctors because you go into a doctor, and you're just a number. Like they don't look, they don't watch, they don't listen.
And by the way, just to back that up, this is a true story. He had sciatica, and he couldn't move his leg. And I told him, go to the doctor. You know what he did? He called Amanda.
I remember that.
And he listened to her. And then I was like, why don't you get these painkillers? He's like, nope. Amanda told me to do this, and I'm doing this.
It's great.
And he got right, like
I got
2
better,
weeks. Not even
2 weeks.
like a week and a half. And usually sciatica, lasts for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Or at least more sometimes. So yeah, he really believes in you guys.
Yeah. Doctors, there's a reason I don't trust doctors because it's just, for instance, like West Boca. We gave birth for my daughter in West Boca. Like my wife was passed to. By 5 days, we go to the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, you're fine. Just go home." So, because I know what I'm doing, I told them, you know what? Give me a document that I came, and you sent me home because she's fine. They didn't. She gave birth the same day. So it's the thing with the medical industry. It's very rare to find people like you where they actually look at you, understand you as a human, not as a number. You see. Even your waiting room, like people come in, they get greeted.
Yeah.
A lot of clinics, they go in, they sit down. It's like they just sit down there,
You're a number.
Yeah.
It's we got to get away from this medical system where doctors are forced to see 30, 35 patients a day. Nurse practitioners are there helping, and then they load up these nurse practitioners or physician assistants with 40 patients, and then the doctor sees 30 patients, and they're like, together your little team has to see 70. That's not good health care.
No.
Nobody wants that. You don't want that for your mother or your father, or your spouse, your kids,
Well,
your
that's not the way
family.
we grew up.
Nobody. It's not.
The system has changed.
The system has changed, and it's a problem. And it's not a political thing. It's a human thing, and both sides are correct in their own way. But we need to come up with a solution, and we're not going to solve that overnight. But that is why we said, hey, look, let's do something different, have more of a concierge approach, make this affordable for our patients, and give them a real life way to live longer and cut that stress out. And just give them a way to live better, longer, happier. And you help that one patient, you've helped 10 other people because all the other people are involved with them and their family and their friends.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. It's
going to expand.
Yeah,
one thing I want to do, because I could be here for hours with you guys, but we got to go and cut it short. Before I leave, I just want to know one thing, because this is what it's all about, the show, the Power Partners. What motivates you, Doctor, and then I'm going to go to you, so think about your answer. But what motivates you? What gives you, what puts you in that peak performance state every day?
The thought of being able to help human beings. The thought that we're all put on earth, and when we're put on earth, we do what we do, no matter what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, you sell shoes, you work as a chiropractor, whatever you do, right? We all have a purpose. But I feel that my purpose is truly to try to help as many people as I can in any way that I can.
What happens when you're having a bad day?
I have a bad day sometimes. We all do. And
look at what he
it's
said, right? He
easy.
said sometimes. That
Well,
just shows you the mindset.
It's easy to get stressed out in this world. But I look at it in a different perspective and I say, okay, think about what I did achieve today. Think about what I did right yesterday. And then you think about those other things, and somehow the solution for whatever may be bad is there in front of you, and it doesn't seem so bad anymore.
Wow, thank you. That's a great message. Amanda's your turn.
So what really motivates me is to make this business the best that I can and have people, the customers, the patients leave there and really be like, wow, that was different. Like, I really felt at home. I felt really taken care of. They heard me. Like, that's what motivates me. I want everyone to feel that and feel that difference of when they're with us. So that's what gets me
What
up.
happens when you're going through a tough time?
Yeah, they're there.
What do you do?
Think about, look at it and try and learn from it. Like, what could I have done differently? Like, when that happens next time, how can I change
So you
that?
self-evaluate.
All the
That's
time.
beautiful.
Maybe too much.
Well, but some people don't self-evaluate. They think it's everyone else's fault that things are not moving
But
forward.
this makes you proactive.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like you prevent it from happening next time and next time.
So I just want to thank you both. How do they get in touch with you? How do they set up an appointment, whether they're in Ohio or here in Florida?
Anyway, visit us on our website. We have call centers that will track you out to the right location that works for you.
So
and
countrywide.
Countrywide, and some of our practitioners, actually we were talking about yesterday, are certified in almost all 50 states. So you have to have a license in the state you're practicing, and so we make sure we're very careful about that. But we will link you with the right person in our organization, depending on where you are throughout the United States. And if we don't have a clinic close to you, we will help you find somewhere, because that's the important thing.
That's beautiful. That's national.
Getting you taken
But since
care of.
Amanda's here, I also want to focus. How would they go directly to
Just
you?
call. Just
What-
call us.
Just call
us
you.
directly.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, we're there.
So
We
for
return
people in
calls.
Florida, we want to call directly, call Amanda. But for anyone else that needs to, and they're not in Florida, make sure you go to the website.
Yeah.
And reach out. So both of you, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much
Thank
for
you. Thank
the
you.
opportunity
Thank
of being
you.
able
Absolutely.
to do this.
Thank you.
So Mike, I want to leave you guys to subscribe, forward this. If you know someone that could have benefited for some of the things you heard today, make sure you share it with other people. Don't just keep it for yourself. My name is Bert Oliva, Cuban born, American made.
Mike Ibrahim, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.